On this episode of MythBusters,
Welcome to my lair.
Adam and Jamie break open the archives to bring you their favorite bloopers. They lift the lid on the show and take you behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, come on.
And they explore some personal issues in this warts and all special.
He's just not aware of half the things that he's doing.
Sit back and marvel at MythBusters Reveal. Who are the MythBusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Heineman.
Quack, damn you.
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Hi, and welcome to another MythBusters special. You know, one of the neat things about the show is that we actually show you a lot of the behind-the-scenes activity. And, you know, the editors, as a matter of course, show all the arguments, the accidents, the mistakes that we make, the times that things go wrong.
But tonight we're going to take that one step further and really pull aside the curtain. You're going to get to see lots of new, unseen footage, bloopers, and insights from Jamie and I and the crew. So welcome to MythBusters Revealed.
Let's kick things off with science, MythBusters style.
You should never try anything like this unless you have your own television show.
MythBusters is a science show with a difference.
This is our job! I think it's working!
Adam and Jamie are consummate builders who could knock up machines and gadgets in their sleep. But that doesn't make them scientists.
So, Jamie, do you think that that's actually a viable scenario that we might be dealing with here?
No?
MythBusters' approach to science is collective ignorance, and it's really much of it is the collective ignorance of Jamie and I and the producer.
Busting myths can be a battle, and that's half the fun. In the myth of free energy, Adam and Jamie built devices they bought off the internet, which claimed to produce more energy than they consumed.
Let's get some free energy, man!
The guys struggled with some curious contraptions. Adam almost electrocuted himself on one that claimed to suck power from radio waves.
That might have been, I don't know, a bad noise. I'm releasing the mysterious blue smoke here. The problem is, once you release the mysterious blue smoke, electronics don't work anymore.
It's all a learning experience.
But what viewers didn't see was just how steep their learning curve really was. The first device they tried to build never actually made it into the show.
Well then,
Oh, man. Hold on a second, bud.
now, I think, yeah.
This myth involves a lot of collective ignorance. We're going to have to muscle through it if we're going to figure out what the hell we're talking about.
Science is about collective ignorance. It's about trying to eliminate pockets of ignorance. And as you watch Jamie and I, and by default our producer who's managing the whole thing, fill in the pockets of our ignorance, you learn too, and you get to see that sort of science in action.
You do need a core temperature, and that's where the rectal probe comes in.
Rectal probe?
The rectal temperature probe.
Apparently I'll do anything for television.
Taking Adam's temperature with the rectal probe, take one.
It's a learn-as-you-laugh philosophy, like in the myth of Goldfinger, where Adam found himself in a delicate spot.
Trying to warm it up.
Oh, Sanjay. Sanjay, will you respect me tomorrow?
Proud as I am that we're the first to show a rectal probe on television, I think that people knew that they existed, and I don't really think we broke any major ground. Perhaps grounds of taboos.
Cry on my shoulder!
And they still didn't see several camera angles that made it much more, graphic.
The MythBusters brand of scienceware can be a little strange, like adult diapers in the brown note myth.
You know, being a big TV star, I don't have time to go to the bathroom in just any old toilet. That's why I wear adult diapers. Now I can go whenever I want.
While appearing in adult diapers might not be very scientific, We've never claimed to be scientific in every aspect of how we do this show, but it actually does fulfill one of our missions, which is if you're flipping through the channels and you see a bunch of dudes in adult diapers over their clothes, you're probably going to stop and see what's going on. And then, once we've tricked you to watch, you actually might learn something.
Oh, look at that. That's still terrible. Remember never to take any of the techniques you see on MythBusters home. These are only techniques for impatient hyper people. Big garbage bags! I need really big garbage bags!
That's how to do it. Don't you have some nice funnels?
I washed them.
These are like garbage. I saw.
The MythBusters do make an effort to look scientific. Though there have been lapses, like Jamie's funnels in cola myths.
And Jamie will deliver funnels that are crusted with every manner of crap of the past 12 years that he's poured into some small hole.
No one would buy that this is a reasonable experiment with these garbagey...
You could get your own funnels then.
I'm gonna go look for the other ones.
Pain.
It's important to make sure the funnels look clean so that people don't write to you with the obvious thing of, well, no wonder those frogs died. You poured it through a funnel caked in methyl ketones.
Look at this. He's like, I washed them. I don't want to go to his house.
I think if we actually knew what we were doing around here, it wouldn't be near as interesting to people to watch. You know, we'd be some scientist that is just reading stuff off of a chart. You know, people would find it boring. This is an adventure for us to actually figure this stuff out. The fact that we're learning as we go is a lot of fun for us, and it comes across on film, I think.
Education can be a blast.
Oh my God!
I almost made the chair.
You almost made the chair! Oh, there you go! I just had another one of those MythBusters moments.
This is the first official what the hell do we think we're doing moment of the new season.
I just had one of those what the hell are we doing moments.
So just what the heck is a what the hell are we doing moment?
Every shoot that we go out and do, and we look at each other and we realize all the people that are around us helping us to do some ludicrous, ridiculous thing to prove some very silly point that most people for some reason crazily believe, and we look around and go, what the hell are we doing? Why are people paying us to do this? And then we just get back into it because, you know, you shouldn't question when things are that good.
3, 2, 1.
Man, that was cool!
Adam and Jamie, night and day.
Hey, do not try what you are about to see at home. We are what you call experts.
What am I supposed
That
to do?
is right. We do this for a living.
MythBusters is about more than just busting myths. It's also about the curious chemistry that exists between the show's two main characters, Adam and Jamie. They're about as different as two guys could be.
What?
What?
Oh, you're just staying really close so I can't...
I've known Adam probably for like 8 years, and we used to work together on a lot of Hollywood movies. And what's crazy is back then, looking back now, he used to work as if a camera crew was following him. Like he was constantly on. So it's like, he's home here. It's weird.
Wow. Do I look really fat lying on the ground?
Ever since the accident, it's been much harder to host the show.
He's the troublemaker. He starts the practical jokes the most. I mean, here and there we try to compete, but yeah, you just can't compete with Adam.
No, I'm not gonna hold you. Don't mess with me, man.
Jamie is like a machine.
Not bad for a man of 75.
He's abnormally strong. And I think that's why he likes to build robots. It's like he's building little friends that he can control.
It's just he's so distinct. I mean, how many people do you know that have a beret and a big walrus mustache? I mean, I adore Jamie. I love the fact that he's so unique.
What?
Jamie is the quiet one.
He becomes much more expressive. Now he's like, oh.
But there's a prankster behind the facade, something the producers picked up on when they shot this promotional video.
Find out what happens when I drop a toaster into Adam's bath. I'm definitely somebody that, you know, enjoys a good prank or two. Boom!
Wow!
Adam and I think, some time ago came to an understanding that it would not be a good thing for us to prank each other very much. Hey, you'll sit right here, and then this thing goes like that, and then this goes whoop.
Those two together, they just seem to bring out the worst in each other sometimes.
The co-hosts often disagree over matters of style when it comes to presenting the show.
You worry about your little part, and I'll worry about my little part.
About things that don't matter and want to help us with the experiment.
Visual, it's television.
In the myth of the penny drop, Adam created a test chamber that could measure the terminal velocity of a falling coin. It was one of his best ever rigs,
So I get like 70
though
miles
you'd
an hour.
never know it from Jamie's reaction.
So let's make your penny gun that shoots a penny at like 65 miles an hour, and we'll show exactly what it does.
Okay.
Adam, say to Jamie, man, you don't seem very excited. This is a world first right here on MythBusters.
Dude, you don't seem very excited. This is a world first here on MythBusters.
I don't normally get excited about things.
It's going out on television that we did the experiment that showed exactly how fast a penny goes. No math, no ideas, no timing off a building. We got it right here in the lab.
That's great. Good job. You guys are just so desperate to get some kind of emotion out of me. It's amazing.
How about this? Try this. Come on, do it with me. Yeah! Can you do that?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to teach you about this sort of television thing. It's bigger than life, not smaller than life.
While he can underdo things on the emotional front, Jamie has a tendency to run away at the mouth. The myth of salsa escape called for the building of a Mexican prison, which reminded him of an earlier life.
Did I tell you that I actually worked as a concrete inspector for several months in Seattle?
Was that before or after you were the large animal veterinarian for the circus?
No, I never did that. You must be mistaken.
So what was it like being a concrete inspector, oh boring one?
Well, I used to drive around and pick up, and I'd go to construction sites after you'll see these, and you did it in 3 or 4, like sitting there at the site waiting to be picked up.
If you try and say, I know, oh yeah, I've got it, I'm gonna go work on this other thing, he won't stop. He keeps on wanting to say it. He'll finish the phrase. And you've got to sit there and he's like a word vampire, sucking the energy out of you while he's doing it.
Oh, I feel, this is my favorite, is when you try and finish a sentence and he still finishes it. I think that I want an apple. An apple.
I think Jamie is a pretty easy target, and I feel really bad sometimes that we copy his voice and his mannerisms. I mean,
I want everybody who's not immediately involved in the experiment to be behind this Lexan shield.
Adam, the producer, other people around here will, poke fun at me. They'll mimic the way that I speak. They try to put me in situations that they know are going to get my goat, just to see if they can get something out of me. And I don't like it.
Nobility scale. Nobility scale.
Why don't you ever pretend to be like Adam?
What do you mean, stupid?
There's no need for Jamie to make fun of Adam,
Are you ready?
because Adam takes care of that all by himself.
You know I always have to reduce it to that level.
Oh, stop playing. Let's do this.
It's such a good sound.
Adam brings a unique energy to the show, as well as some pretty fancy moves.
Dancing's a big deal for me because I'm a white boy and it's funny.
Stir the pot, baby.
Adam never sits still, but his moves aren't always quite this smooth. It's part of the savage enigma.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I don't get about Adam is that, you know, at the same time as he's really coordinated. You know, the guy can juggle. He can build really delicate things with a lot of finesse. But I want to put him in a box or something because he just breaks everything.
That
way, yeah. Oh. Thank you, Adam.
Ow, it hurts to laugh.
It's the energy that Adam has and the drive that allows him to move through things quickly that I really appreciate when I'm working with him. However, it has its price, and that would be that he makes a lot of mistakes.
Perhaps it's something to do with sticking things in his eyeballs, but Adam is capable of missing the blatantly obvious. Take the scaffold tower in Barrel of Bricks.
Jamie, you got any idea what these are for? They're shorter than the scissor bars, and it seems to me like they might go from level to level, but in fact, they don't. So I don't know exactly where they go.
And they don't reach from one side to the other?
Nope.
Like this?
Oh. Okay, am I about to feel really, really stupid?
Probably.
Okay, yeah, I was about to, and I do feel really, really stupid.
Or take Tongue Stud Lightning Rod, where Adam lost his head.
Jamie?
What's happened, Adam?
Well, apparently I'm short one head. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I counted 10. I counted 10 so many times.
Think, then act. Don't act, then think.
Killing time.
You know, here on MythBusters, we're under such a tight schedule, and there's constant pressure on us. You know, every once in a while, you got to let loose a little bit, otherwise you're gonna go crazy.
I'm king of the world!
In between takes, the MythBusters set can look like a madhouse, but it's a case of let off steam or go insane.
I think it's like any other work environment. You have to let off a little stress. And besides, how often do I get to show people that I have a perfect bird call for a peacock?
As this footage shows, Carrie works hard to keep her stress levels down.
Dance like a chicken. Yeah, that's it. That's good.
Chicken impersonations are popular with everyone. Well, almost everyone.
Some of the crew's inclined to play around a lot on the show. Adam in particular is always trying to stick something new up his nose.
I've got a cold. Oh, I'm breathing easier already. These are fantastic.
I'm just trying to keep things that we can cut to between the experiments and, you know, maybe keep people interested in the show.
The editors are always well served by Adam, especially when there's a barrel around.
What? All right, I'm gonna be sick.
Party tricks are Adam's favorite way of chilling out. Even though they wind Jamie up.
Are we doing an experiment here, or are we screwing around? Probably the only footage you're going to find of me killing time is me sitting someplace thinking.
Or something.
What's that you say? I can't quite hear you!
In fact, the whole cast and crew are experts at killing time.
By me.
Thus, staying mentally balanced.
Not a lot going on upstairs, but God, she's cute.
And able to make the show week in, week out.
Come on, the fight's out there!
Let me tell you, kids, don't try this at home. We're professionals.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Here we see the Heinemann in his natural habitat. The Heinemann prefers to live in an extremely clean environment, removing all detritus from his surroundings at every opportunity.
Jamie's the cleanest of the myth-busting species.
Jamie is wearing a white shirt. His hands look like he's a coal miner, and I'm having trouble spotting a stain on the damn shirt.
If anything is guaranteed to get his goat, it's trash.
You know, I've had people riding motorcycles in the offices. They've burned holes in the carpet. There are coffee spills everywhere. It's aggravating.
Some of us in the group are a little cleaner than others. Tori tends to clean up. Jamie is neurotic about cleaning up. And Adam is the Tasmanian devil of filth.
Oh, no. Oh, this is bad. It smells better than rotting pigs, though.
Adam is just always filthy, and I'm always clean.
Is he still saying that I don't clean up after myself? Is he still complaining about that?
When there are a number of myths on the go at once, and things get really out of hand, Jamie's patience can run out.
Come on, guys, it's time to clean up around here. You know, we can barely move around this place. I've got a business to run here. You know, there's pickups in the way here. We've got dead pigs outside stinking up the parking lot. I've got ducks all over the bathroom. It's about time that you guys did your part and cleaned up. I'm sick and tired of coming in here in the mornings and the weekends and doing it myself.
In a neat sidestep, Adam passes the buck.
Does the show cause those conflicts? No, I think those conflicts are based in Jamie's neuroses and strangeness. I mean, when he gets upset about the chicken walking around, we're there on a table that is covered with paper. It's covered with paper.
Okay, let's put the chicken back in the box.
Oh, I'm hypnotizing the chicken.
Yeah, well, guess who gets to clean all this up?
That would be Peter and me. We already agreed upon it.
So this chicken's walking around on the paper like it should be, and it takes a poop because they don't have toilets in chicken land, and Jamie gets all bent out of shape about this chicken poop on paper.
We're gonna clean up, we're gonna replace the paper. Am I gonna put that? This is like the kind of stuff that drives me nuts because, you know, I swear, I'm gonna end up cleaning this up. It's the way it works around here.
And it's like, you're wasting more time to talk about it than it would take to just like put it in the garbage.
So the chicken goes back in the box, or you guys are gonna have all this stuff sitting on your desk by tomorrow morning, right?
I mean, I don't even understand where he's coming from when he starts to get cranky about stuff like that. That somehow speaks of all of our disrespect for his shop space.
Jamie, what's going on in here? Now let's really freak him out.
And did you close the doors in the rest of the shop?
No.
Well, close the doors in the rest of the shop.
What did I say? I said he didn't say exactly that. It's just a smoke machine.
Yeah, it's gonna get everywhere.
It's just mineral smoke.
Christine, can you close the door since you want to do it?
Just watch him go.
This is what happens when you don't clean up the shop.
Now we're gonna go into that stupid little sequence where, you know, Adam's chasing me around, he's got my white shirt on, and I get irritated, and everybody thinks it's funny.
How did he guess? It was in the forest fire scuba diver myth that the famous white shirt changed hands, causing Jamie a nasty bout of separation anxiety.
Well, I'm differentiating myself from Jamie. Come on.
Why do you wear your white shirt, Jamie?
I wear my white shirt because that's what I wear. Did you mess? Is that your shirt? What are you doing with my clothes?
How come you're not wearing your crisp white shirt? You're supposed to differentiate yourself. Now I gotta wear it until you put it back on.
Is that your shirt? What are you doing? You know, mess with your own clothes. Take it off. Put it back where you got it. I'm gonna crush you. Whoa! Come on, you don't have to do that. I was
got
told.
it all over me.
Yeah, I was told to do that. And I have to have these cleaned, so.
I have to have these cleaned.
You guys are just trying to give me a hard time to see if you can get some good irritated TV out of this deal.
I believe we just did.
Why do you always ensure that your white shirt is always crisp, clean, and neatly pressed?
This is like some kind of freak show. What the f is this? Of course I take my white shirt off if I'm gonna get dirty. Otherwise I ruin the white shirt and I can't clean it. Is that?
That's good.
Okay, thanks.
All the hard work's been done and my shirt's still white.
bad takes. On MythBusters, bad takes are a way of life. Even the clapperboard flubs its lines. Cell phones are a constant interruption. In the show's early days, the cast agreed that offenders had to pay with beer.
That's a case of beer. You can show him a new technique and he'll get it like that and be able to move forward with it. And that's a case of beer. Who the hell could be calling me? I can't answer that. I'm tying a pig's stomach into a skeleton. If I bought a case of beer every time that happened, the crew would just be drunk all the time. I tend to buy a couple of cases of beer every couple of weeks, I guess.
Adam always, seems to get busted with his cell phone because, I mean, let's face it, the guy likes to talk.
MythBusters.
Breaking big things for science every day.
Oh.
Only Jamie has escaped buying a case of beer. He's a little smug.
I've never had to give a case of beer to the crew for my cell phone ringing during a shoot, largely because I keep it on vibrate.
Oh, it's a beer! Oh,
yeah, that's odd.
And that's a case of beer.
Hello.
Props can also cause problems.
1 penny down. 1 to go.
3, 2, 1.
Like a klaxon.
Oh, I was gonna wait for you. Okay.
Or a lizard.
As it turns out, a lot of urban legends involve animals. And that's a good thing. Where are you going, Spot?
Or a dummy.
I christen you Buster 2.0.
Or a lizard.
I've actually done my fair share of animal wrangling.
You get the idea.
I christen you Buster 2.0.
Are you gonna make me repair his hat again? Where are you going, Spot? Did that work?
I christen you Buster 2.0.
And sometimes nature messes up a myth, like in Ming Dynasty.
Oh, the gods are angry. Well, the rocket provided plenty of thrust, Jamie. What's next?
Or Tori intervenes, like he did in Killer Fan.
Holy what I found. We can totally observe the whole experiment from this window.
In the hammer drop myth, Adam's idea for a promo shoot tanked.
No, what you should do is kneel by it and say, coming up, and then I come out.
Okay.
But don't hook it close.
Okay.
Really, I swear.
Okay.
It's horrible in here.
Okay.
Okay, action.
Close it, Adam. We can see it's kind of open. You gotta close it.
I'm not gonna close it because Jamie's gonna lock me in.
Please close.
It's horrible in here.
Action.
Coming up. Now you picked it up. Coming up. Coming up.
Will a hammer save your life if you're falling from a bridge? Okay, it's horrible in here.
MythBusters is unscripted, so the hosts make up their lines with predictable consequences.
Buster will be that dummy.
Better than he was before.
Stronger.
Better.
Faster.
Faster?
Man, we're not actors. None of us can spit our lines out because they're not lines. We're just trying to get our thoughts in order in front of the camera.
Sometimes there's days where my brain and my mouth don't want to connect, and trying to get words out is just like pulling teeth. So with that, sorry, let me just think about what I'm gonna say real quick, and then I can't, this one, when you're dealing, sorry, you have a time limit with their working. You know what the worst part is? As you're talking, you start listening to what you're saying.
It was caused by human decomposing waste. Human waste decomposing.
And then you're asking a question. Is what I'm saying making sense right now? The more toxic you're working with the material, the more important the material is. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Does Carrie always make sense on camera?
It's actually sulfur inside you that sulfur. It's actually.
When television cameras are watching you and you're not used to it, you definitely try to think about what you're saying because you don't want to look like an idiot. Do it again. That made sense, didn't it?
That's, why I like Carrie. She's an individual. She's unique that way.
We've got some stone,
We need to get it cut.
so we've come to the experts.
Yeah.
When Jamie trips up, it's invariably over his tongue.
Blah-de-blah, I don't know what all.
He's a thoroughbred line flubber.
That's going to form the basis of my... I actually appreciate from the editors the fact that they generally make me look good, and this particular thing I hope is done with at least a little bit of respect.
Not a chance. Here's the maestro at work.
Start again.
Summing Jamie up in 2 sentences or less.
But,
Is that good?
Jamie can be excruciating about delivering his lines.
Thinking about what I'm saying and actually saying the things at the same time is very difficult for me.
He really wants to get it right.
I'm a good designer, and I don't think that... I'm sorry. I'm a good designer. Or rather, I'm sorry. Am I gonna really get reamed by the edit of this thing with like minutes and minutes of flubbed lines? Is that how this is gonna work?
You got it.
Pull those guides and pull the bushings out of them and just use those.
Yeah. I'm not interested normally in talking. I don't know. I don't practice talking.
I think we're good. Are we good to go? I think we're good to go for the real thing now.
I don't think the issue is whether it's fair or not to jump in on his lines while we're on camera.
We put our bodies on the line, CO2 poisoning,
Skin asphyxiation.
I've always jumped over his words, whether we're on camera or not, for 10 years.
And we do all this physical effort to
talk.
The finishing of the lines, that was something that Adam just made up. I don't believe that he regularly feels the need to do that.
Jamie, I'm getting something from you. I'm getting that what really bugs you is we put our bodies on the line, like skin asphyxiation, CO2 poisoning, and biohazards, and only the tiniest bit of it ends up on the show. Oh, I would say, do you mean like Chinese water torture?
Okay, rolling for Jamie's pearls of wisdom.
Jamie, I believe you have an extra comment. What is it?
All right.
I want to hear it too.
That was the funny lead-in.
Yeah, it's like after two people that are complaining.
I got your back.
No, I want to hear it. Come on, man. After all this, let's just keep rolling.
Safety first. 2 Mythbusters have responsibility for making sure people don't get hurt during the filming of the show. One is Buster. You could say he's the fall guy on the most dangerous myths. The other is Jamie. He's the safety officer.
Whoops.
It's a job he takes seriously.
Whoops.
24/7.
Whoops. Safety is definitely not a joke on MythBusters. We're aware that we're constantly putting ourselves at risk here, and so we do everything that we can to minimize that risk.
Well, maybe not everything. Jamie's got his work cut out preventing injury on set.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
he gets some help from the Red Man suit. It's designed to protect trainee kickboxers, but it just brings out the devil in Adam.
We bought the Red Man suit primarily when we were doing experiments that involved some kind of punching, but it tends to now get pulled out on all different kinds of occasions because it's kind of goofy to put on. You look like a dork, and you know you can really belt someone, and it's great stress relief.
Are you ready? Come on, let's go.
Something I've been wanting to do for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
As safety officer, Jamie felt obliged to test out the suit. With Adam in it, of course.
Oh, okay, that's plenty. I'm ready for some more working out. Whoa, 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 whoa.
In any myth involving a radio-controlled car, there's plenty of scope for injury. In Drive Shaft Pole Vault, Jamie seemed alert to the danger.
If you see the car doing something weird, you know, get over there. Seriously. It's a big heavy-duty machine. It could kill you.
Textbook safety officer stuff.
The drive shaft experiment, I mean, with our experiments, they're so unpredictable and they're so dangerous. I mean, this is a car totally controlled by Jamie's little remote control box. There's no way we've ever allowed somebody to get into that because it's just way too dangerous.
Let me get in it.
Okay.
And that's where Jamie lost the plot.
As a builder and the safety officer on the show, it's sort of a conflict. You get invested in these projects when you're building and you want to see them work.
I'm ready when you are, Jamie.
Maybe Jamie was just mad at Adam that day, because that was crazy.
Jamie!
Oh. Whoops.
Whoops. I'm okay. What the hell was that?
I thought he did it on purpose. To this day, if somebody told me he did, I'd believe it.
Safety is a high priority. Nothing is haphazard about our shoots. Everything's pretty well thought out beforehand.
So how come we got all this footage of people getting injured?
It's because we employ a lot of klutzes.
Messing around on set is all part of the fun, but things can go over the top. When they do, Tori's never far from the action. In the Blown Away myth, he decided to test out their pig rig to see if it would take the weight of a whole hog.
I knew you were going to bring that one up.
I like it every time Tori hits himself in the head. It's really funny.
That's so bad. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but you just punched yourself right in the head.
Can I look at that tape? It hurt very badly. I think if you look at the video, tears are coming out of the eyes. Yeah.
What were you thinking? Trying to jump a bicycle that's not made for jumping over Jamie's little red wagon.
Thinking is too grand a word for what happens next.
Do something really cool this time.
Sit back and watch again as Tori rushes in where angels would fear to tread.
Let's egg him on until he hurts himself. That's always fun.
I don't even think you need to egg him on.
Did a little test run. I actually thought I had cleared it.
There's no way I can make this. The bike's too heavy.
No, Tori, totally. It looked like you cleared it.
I think I had asked Carrie if I had cleared it, and she gave me the okay, like, yeah, you're totally over it.
That was clearly sarcasm.
You smell that?
What's that?
Bad things.
I totally thought I could make it. I really believed I could make it over that thing.
Now that is hard to believe. Unbelievable.
I'm okay.
I can't believe you actually did that.
Isn't that great? Carrie is always looking out for me. She's got my back on this show, for sure.
Losing it. Warning, busting myths can cause bad karma.
It's just crazy to me how you have everything in this shop, but you don't have anything to put it together.
When the pressure is on, tempers can flare.
Bite me.
I will bite you.
And watching the guys lose it is all part of the fun.
It's like your intuition is that it's not like a bomb.
Yeah.
But if it is, we're all dead and
Oh, I lose my cool all the time on this show.
All right. Let's go to school.
The cameras are always rolling on set, so when things go wrong, they usually end up on tape.
Come on, come on!
No, no!
A malfunctioning vacuform machine boiled Adam's blood in the myth of the tongue stud lightning rod.
This is a stupid frame with substandard gasketing on it. Just mean I'm ripping my fingers to shreds on this thing. I don't know a single vacuformer that is stupider to use than this.
Tell us what you really think.
I hate this frame. It's ripping my fingers to shreds. A little more comfort in your design. That's all I want.
It'll toughen your fingers up. It's good for it.
You, my fingers don't need toughening. Your design needs softening.
If anybody can switch the buttons on Adam, it's Jamie. Like I've never seen, and I think it's because they've worked together so long. They have this kind of weird love-hate relationship.
Which was on display when Jamie got carried away with an electric fence transformer.
What do you mean it's my lack of credibility?
Jesus Christ. Okay, this is not funny.
Actually, when Jamie tried to electrocute me, that's a real glimpse into Jamie's character. I mean, when he gets really angry, he's kind of reduced to sort of the mentality of an angry 12-year-old.
It's not safe to do that to somebody else. I mean, it's all fun and games, but you know, if you're gonna be an about it, that's not funny.
Another cattle prod prank went spectacularly wrong in the myth of ancient electricity.
You guys haven't hooked in the electric fence thing in here, have you?
Oh, that would have been a good idea.
I'm reasonably convinced you haven't.
The build team didn't fess up that the arc was wired up.
Did I describe anywhere?
I guess.
I don't know. I mean, it, like doesn't.
Oh!
Do you feel God?
You did hook up the real thing.
Yeah. I can't tell you how bad that went. I've never felt so bad in my life. I mean, you know, he's a good friend of mine, and I basically betrayed him by allowing him to touch the cattle prodder.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
And it was not funny. I mean, in hindsight, we can all laugh at it, but that day he was pretty upset.
No, just leave me alone.
Bust-ups with the build team are rare. The best bouts on MythBusters feature the main hosts, Adam and Jamie.
I mean, I think it's stupid. I think it's a waste of time.
In the myth of killer quicksand, the issue was how to fill a 2,000-gallon tank with water. Adam favored using a fire hydrant.
We can continue to not err on the side of caution and just waste time because you're cheap. That's fine.
Actually, I'm just expressing my opinion, and I'm not giving you about your opinion. I'm just saying I think it's...
About every one of my opinions. Every last single one of them.
Yeah.
You talk until I can't stand to hear you talk anymore, and then we go with your idea.
Yeah, you baby. You know, now I got to listen to you whine about it all the time. And, you know, the whole time it's filling, it's like, wah, wah, wah.
Another row about a rig came in the myth of ping-pong salvage, when Adam raised doubts over Jamie's ball dispenser.
I'm happy to do a myth where we go out and have no caution and up and have you eat it.
You
and
big
not be
baby,
upset about
stop
it.
whining.
You're such a about it. I mean,
You're always whining about something. You're going to waste time on all sorts of crap.
Off.
We just tested it, it works, and stop whining. Go have a cookie.
It's no joke. Jamie believes their bust-ups are all about blood sugar.
When I say Adam needs a cookie, it's literally he needs a cookie. You know, Adam is just sort of headlong into everything that he does. Now that we're on camera, what you're trying to tell me is you've screwed up, huh?
Yeah, again.
Well, it's that time of day, and it seems that Adam needs another cookie. Rather than eating, he'll like wait until he feels bad and then, you know, snap.
I'm totally popped on adrenaline. I think I need a cookie.
No pain, no gain.
I don't like to see anyone get hurt. No, actually, I really enjoy seeing Adam get injured. He's actually quite handy at it. He's like Charlie Chaplin.
You gotta hand it to him. He's a natural.
As Adam likes to say, he gives good pain.
I'm scared.
He's turned getting hurt into performance art.
That hurts. That one definitely bounced right off. Did anyone see where that last penny went?
Adam is a disaster area.
He's a danger to himself, which makes great viewing.
I've worked with Adam a lot, and he is so fast. However, sometimes he's a little too fast. You know, he might be running 100 miles an hour, but he's going in the wrong direction.
There's nothing more entertaining than watching somebody else take a fall. Well, you've got lots of shots of me falling over, I guess, because I fall over a lot.
You want to lie there for a minute, or you want to get up?
Actually, finally seeing the clips all the way through, it's kind of shockingly funny to notice how little anyone has sympathy for me.
Particularly Jamie. Whether Adam's fooling around
Serves you right.
or really getting hurt.
Oh, this is terrible.
You deserve it.
I've got ants all over my hat. They're all over my head. Ants are all over my head, man.
Adam's always hurting himself because sometimes he acts before he thinks.
As was the case in the myth of skunk cleaning.
Yep, on camera again.
And most famously in the myth of the levitation machine.
Okay, I'm an idiot.
That's MythBusters' most requested clip. So here's Adam's chance to explain what on earth he thought he was doing.
I wasn't trying to put my lips in the vacuum cleaner. I was just wondering if you get to see my lips like, ooh, like doing this. I just had no idea they'd stretch that far and into the flywheel.
So now you know.
See, this is the show. It's like 4 minutes of science and then 10 minutes of me hurting myself.
What can you do? He's just so good at it.
Feel the power. I feel the power.
In the myth of the static cannon, he became a shaman of pain, revealing the path to joy through suffering.
There's too much power in my arms.
Regular viewers will recognize this footage from the show's title sequence.
I'm fine. Am I missing an eyebrow?
Keep your eyes on Adam's expression.
I am missing an eyebrow, aren't I?
You lost a lot of hair up there, too.
You're kidding me.
No. You're all right. It's not gonna. It won't look weird after a day or two.
Could that be proof that the only way to really hurt him is by wounding his vanity?
I know it seems like I had this whole vanity thing because like my hair is receding. I don't. However, I was worried that I would be like unable to shoot or something like that because I had some huge bald burn patch on my head.
Very commendable, but not quite the full story.
I have a date tomorrow.
It's not too bad, dude.
All in the name of science. Okay, that was probably one of the stupidest things I've ever done. In fact, yeah, actually, I did have a date that night. And the date went spectacularly, despite my slightly singed hair.
I'm Jamie Heineman. And you're watching MythBusters on the Discovery Channel.
Hey, it's MythBusters. It's MythBusters.
You're watching MythBusters on the Discovery Channel.
So what did they make of MythBusters Revealed?
Oh man, I feel like I've made a complete ass of myself during this interview.
It's a little bit funny. It's a little bit kind of unnerving.
I hope people appreciate the suffering that I've gone through. Do I give you guys when you have something to say?
I do believe that people can look at me, they feel sorry for me, and they go, oh, I could relate to that guy, because, you know, I screw up all the time.
So who doesn't?
I'm okay.
On this special episode, he's taken more than a dummy can bear. But now, Buster is being rebuilt.
I gotta say, that looks like it hurt.
Every battered nut and bolt.
I love it. I think it's great.
At last, he'll get a brand new body as we get under the bruised and burnt skin of the MythBusters' ultimate fall guy. And who did this to him? Adam Savage.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
And Jamie Heineman.
I kind of like it in here. It's private.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects and dummy wrecking experience.
That was intense.
They don't just tell the myths. They put Buster to the painful test.
Look at this poor guy, Jamie. I mean, he's been burnt, bashed.
You know, beaten and blown up.
I mean, we have absolutely trashed this dummy.
Yeah, it's time Buster had a totally new body, built from scratch, I think.
Remember when we first got him, how pink and perfect he was?
Fresh as a newborn baby.
Got it. Oh.
It was the start of a great adventure.
In this box right here is the new star of MythBusters. Oh, look at that.
That's all I need is another dummy around this place.
Yeah, but you can kick this one's ass, and he'll just come back for more. What part of the body is
that
this?
would be the, goes in the
Oh, that's the
torso.
stomach, okay. Wow. Oh, that's beautiful.
This is like a giant-sized G.I. Joe.
Take a really good last look. He was fresh-faced, undamaged, enthusiastic, and, well, that was all about to change.
I think we should call him Buster.
Buster. Buster sounds pretty good. Kind of manly, a little, pretty descriptive.
He doesn't have any ears.
And so to Buster's first job, the exploding toilet. A can of flammable gas is somehow emptied into the bowl. Homeowner sits down, drops a cigarette between his knees, and the MythBusters used gunpowder.
How much? I put it all in there.
That's too much.
Half of it?
That's a hell of a lot. Should give you one hell of an effect.
For Buster, it would be a baptism by fire.
If you can lift his thighs, and I'll scoot him back.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
There we go.
He was about to learn two valuable lessons. First, even for a crash test dummy, smoking is bad for your health. And second, you really should ask a few questions before signing on for TV stunt work.
Are we good to go?
Yep.
Ready. Go. That was great.
It didn't even move him.
No, he didn't even move.
It did blow his pants up, though.
He's still holding the cigarette.
Buster had his first myth-busting battle scars. Sadly, he wouldn't be able to show them off in polite company.
Yeah, I've had days just like this, too.
Buster had survived the mother of all initiation hazings and was now officially part of the team.
Well, that was Buster's very first baptism of fire.
Yeah, Buster is trashed.
And that was not remotely the worst that we put him through.
So we've come to a place called the Bone Room.
To get some bones.
To rebuild Buster.
There aren't too many places around where you can buy human bones, but you can at the Bone Room, and plenty else besides.
Look at that. What is that?
It's a giraffe vertebra.
Look at the size of it. Crikey.
So, Christina, we actually need some human bones and arm and leg bones specifically.
Pull this.
There you go. That is one human femur.
It's normally a hangout of taxidermists and med students, but Jamie and Adam are looking for bones to test for strength to help with the rebuild.
And there are your bones.
Okay, well, we have some great supplies to help us rebuild Buster.
Because while he was designed to be in car accidents, what the MythBusters did to him took him far beyond the call of his original duty.
Yeah, we came down on him like a ton of bricks.
Testing the barrel of bricks myth was Buster's first real taste of just how evil the MythBusters could be.
I gotta say, that looks like it hurt.
And that was just the warm-up. The guys had something far more painful in mind.
Oh, how's that feel, sport? Oh, huh?
In this myth, an unfortunate builder fights a losing battle with a barrel of bricks and gravity. To test it, the guys needed a scaffold 30 feet high.
More than 10 feet, you can break limbs. At where we are at about 30 feet, you could easily die falling that high.
A pulley was secured at the top, and a rope passed through. The barrel at one end, Buster waiting nervously on the other, which was tied off on the fender of Jamie's truck. Buster had a quick-release hand, so he could let go of the rope at the right time.
Have a seat there, buddy. Your life's about to get really hard.
It was, but first, Jamie had to load in 500 pounds of bricks.
A lot of creaking going on up here.
Turns out that was more weight than the rig could handle. There was no time for Buster's last words.
I'm not even sure, actually, that the pulley's going to stay on that pipe.
The pipe's bending. We got to go now.
Yeah.
Okay?
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The barrel didn't fail.
The barrel didn't break. Buster was left hanging. And there would be no escape for our hero. The barrel was weakened, a board placed in the drop zone, and once again, Buster was ready for liftoff.
3, 2. It worked perfectly.
That was fun. That was really cool. I mean, it went up, it went down, it went up, it went down. It's like the dummy getting beaten every which way all through the whole process. That was hysterical.
So it worked. They showed the myth was possible. Time to go home for a nice rest. Or not.
3, 2, 1.
Well, the guys were happy at least. Buster had broken ribs and legs, but they seemed willing for him to pay that price.
We broke a crash test dummy, man. I think that's a red letter day. Yeah! You know, over the years, we put Buster through a heck of a lot of abuse. And if he had real bones like you and I, they probably would have broken by now several times over. So we thought, as long as we're rebuilding him, why not give him something that breaks exactly when real bone would break?
So the first thing we need to know is exactly what a real bone will take. And I built this machine here which will tell us exactly that.
All right, so lower it down.
Okay, here we go.
That's a femur, and there's 200 pounds on the bar.
Well, that's taking the weight.
Okay, upsy daisy.
Yeah, I'll put on 25 more pounds.
The femur is generally regarded as the strongest bone in your body, but you won't believe how strong.
500.
Come on, break already.
I don't know when this is going to end.
Somebody's been eating his Wheaties.
The human race. No way. 600 pounds coming up.
Oh, 625.
625. Man, that was violent.
625 pounds. That's a...
That sounded like a gun went off.
It did. It sounded like a gunshot. That was really intense.
So now we need to find a material that'll take 600 pounds, but not 625.
Because it's happened before, and it's likely will deliver that kind of force to Buster again, and again, and again.
Well, there's this myth that if you fall off a high structure like a bridge or a crane or something over water and you throw a hammer in front of you, that it'll save your life because it'll break the surface tension of the water.
Bridge jumping. What a joy for Buster. But after the barrel of bricks, he was in no condition to jump off anything.
You know, I hadn't thought if it was possible to break a crash test dummy, but I must admit an inordinate amount of pride that we did.
So they broke him. But could they put him back together again?
Absolutely. We can totally rebuild him. We can make him better. He's just like a big Tinker Toy set, really.
While they were at it, Buster was to get a new brain.
This is an accelerometer. This will measure the G-force when he hits the water. I like this. I'm quite pleased with this.
Want to get your chest back on?
You think you're better than me? Hey, this guy's almost ready to throw off the roof.
Oh, good. This was to test the accelerometer.
3, 2, 1. That was perfect. We've cracked his entire head in. I mean, just some big old welds along here should be fine.
Easy for him to say. It wasn't his head. But the accelerometer worked fine. Now, they wanted to test this one at the Golden Gate Bridge, just like the myth. But security concerns meant they had to settle for a crane, 180 feet high.
It's a strange combination of like sheer terror and delight. I'm not sure. I think my fascination is overriding my terror.
First up, they tested Buster's impact without the hammer.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, no. Poor guy. Oh, no, no, no.
One drop, one leg. 2 drops. 2 legs. Who'd have thought?
He's completely trashed. The cast aluminum of his thigh bone right here absolutely just shattered into contact with the water. It's pretty obvious that from that height, you're completely screwed.
Legless? Buster concurred with that scientific assessment. But his day wasn't done. Would the addition of a hammer break the water's surface tension and save his skin?
We're ready on your count.
3, 2, 1, go.
In short, the hammer made no difference whatsoever.
I'd say that's a good day's work.
I want to get the hell off this crane.
Well, I'll tell you, I never imagined that falling into water, which I knew was dangerous, would actually tear you limb from limb. I mean, it tore Buster's legs right off.
Yeah, and then I had to spend a half a day on the weekend by myself out there with a clam rake finding the lower limb.
I'm really glad you did.
Well, for whatever good it did. How are you doing with the bone tests?
Excellent, actually. I've got what I think is perfect arm bone material, both upper and lower, and I'm just about to do the final test on this roughly 3/4 inch poplar spar, which I think is going to make a perfect set of leg bones for him. Ah, that was perfect. This broke at exactly the same weight as the human femur.
Yeah, it looks like Buster's new bones are going to be made out of poplar.
And you know what this will tell us is, for instance, if I got launched 200 feet out of a culvert, whether or not that resulting landing would actually break any of my bones.
Well, I think we already know the answer to that one.
Well, what's next in line for Buster is to put him in a 3-foot pipe with a bunch of gasoline and maybe even gunpowder and see if we can launch him like a cannonball.
In this myth, a hillbilly is blown over his house after trying to blast a raccoon out of a rain pipe using gasoline.
It's like a secret escape hatch. Woo!
The guys had a pipe 3 feet round, just like the myth. It was positioned in a pile of earth for stability and safety.
Well, we've just covered the pipe with dirt, and so I guess we're going to pour some gasoline down there and light it with the dummy in the tube. We pretty well know that nothing's going to happen.
Just like the genius in the myth, Buster was positioned head first in the pipe, eyeballing the cranky raccoon.
The raccoon's probably all the way at the very end, you know, up against like a steel grate or something like that. So he's probably like right here, trying to be as threatening as a raccoon soaked with gasoline can be.
5 gallons of gasoline should get this party started.
Okay, it's kind of a lot. A lot of gasoline pouring out of there.
That's it.
That's it. All right, get out of there. In 3, 2, 1. There we go. We have ignition. Put it out now. Go. Well, that wasn't nothing at all. Let's see how our raccoon did. Oh. For those who like their raccoons deep fried. We replicated the myth, we got nothing. Now it's time to see what it takes to launch him out of that tube.
So, scratch gas. If you really want to blow a hillbilly over a house, you need gunpowder.
We're using 10 1-pound cans of the Go-X black powder. That should give us a pretty good bang.
And a sealed tube. Jamie's built this foam sabot so Buster would be tight in the pipe, like a bullet in a barrel.
Oh, yeah.
Buster is locked in the sabot. It's a perfect fit.
So that's the 10-pounder, isn't it?
It's a 10-pounder.
Don't look like much.
Not until it goes off.
Look at that, that's perfect.
The whole damn thing could blow up for all we know, but our best shot is that it's going to come out of there, and it's going to come out really fast, and it's going to look really cool.
Jamie's so confident, he's parked Buster's chair right where he thinks he'll land.
Jamie, you hoping to catch him?
Yeah.
All right, that's about the most optimistic thing I've ever heard. If you catch him, I'll give you $100.
Buster, of course, would get nothing but trouble.
Firing in 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God!
I almost made the chair.
You almost made the chair. Oh, he survived. Buster survived. Oh, woo. Oh, how you feeling, buddy?
Buster perfected the art of the nearly human cannonball, and once again gave all in the name of myth-busting. After a season of abuse, Buster the crash test dummy is being rebuilt from the ground up.
At this point, we're just about halfway there.
Now, once we get these parts molded into rubber, Buster will be ready for active duty.
And you know, this time he needs to be ready for absolutely anything, because somehow I don't think the original designers really intended him to test the world's deadliest washing machine.
In this myth, a man is overloading his washing machine. To stuff the clothes in, he stands inside the machine, but it switches on, spinning him around, knocking baking soda off the shelf, and terrifying his pet dog who pees on the soda.
causing a small explosion, at which point the laundry machine went into its spin cycle, turning him at about 70 miles an hour, where he smacked his head into a shelf and died immediately.
Well, that sounds ridiculous.
Well, yeah. So the MythBusters created Frankenwasher.
Ah, there we go. Now it's finally linked up. Good.
A bucking bronco of a machine, packing 10 horsepower of spin cycle insanity. A field trip to the park would turn up the other component of this myth, eventually.
Come on, come on. Jamie! What? He was gonna go in my pans. You messed it all up.
Good job.
Beautiful. Excellent.
And it was time to take Buster for a spin.
So he's swinging the butt all the way upside down, like this.
There's a camera out of there?
Yeah, here. Now, we lift him. Oh, wait. He's copping a feel, right? There we go. Buster! See? See? We're done.
Buster's reluctance was understandable.
See, that was easy.
And his fortunes were about to take a turn for the worse. A big turn.
I told you no colors with the whites.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna operate it from over here at safe distance. Okay, quiet, guys.
Ready?
By MythBusters standards, Buster got off lightly, dizzy but otherwise unharmed.
That was a lot of fun. That was pretty cool. He was like a top or a Tasmanian devil.
But does the last part of this myth contain a drop of truth?
Basically, now I'm about to pour the dog wee on the pile of baking soda, which, if the myth is correct, should cause a small explosion. Or if we're actually on Earth, will do absolutely bupkis. Get me the Jack Russell Terrier urine. That ought to do it. They're hyper little creatures. All right, are you ready? Hot set!
Well, what do you know? Nothing happened.
No explosion at all. Well, Jamie, that's actually, I think, a first for us. There's not one fact about this myth that's true.
This round belongs to Buster. He emerges from that machine washed, dried, fluffed, and folded, and ready for more dirty work.
Well, Buster definitely got off pretty easy in the killer washing machine myth.
Yeah, we hardly had to do anything at all to fix him.
You know, I'm really hoping that this is the very last major rebuild we'll have to do for a while.
Yeah, well, I can't hardly wait to see what it takes to bust Buster's new skeleton.
Absolutely. Whoop.
Hey, it's not ready yet. You can't do that.
Sorry.
Hardly any of the original Buster will be left. Jamie and Adam have custom-made nearly all of the skeleton.
I love it. That's terrific. And there's a little bit of play in there. I think it's great.
He's got new, more flexible aluminum joints. And the wooden pieces will closely match the strength of human arms and legs. And best yet, they're all quickly and easily replaceable.
So, Dr. Heineman, will I still be able to play the piano when this operation's over?
Piano playing is fine, but I would like you to watch the safety film on the dangers of playing the trombone.
This is a musical myth. A wacky trombonist thinks it'd be fun to fire his mute into the audience at the crescendo of the 1812 overture. Instead, his firecracker-propelled mute hits the conductor, blowing him into the crowd, and the trombone slide is shot into the second violinist. Strangely, none of the local concert halls expressed any desire to help out.
He's pretty floppy. It's like trying to get a dead guy to stand up.
So this would be an outdoor show, with Buster making his conducting debut. He had a little stage fright.
Hey, Jack.
Understandable, given the MythBusters brought in pyrotechnician Jack Morocco to ensure they got enough bang for their concert-going buck.
Just another day of blowing something up.
I think it's going to be a nice loud bang. I think it's going to destroy the mute right off. I don't think nearly anything that we're going to be able to do is actually going to get the mute to Buster.
Continuity's good.
All right. Are we all good to go?
Notice how everyone moved behind the safety screen. Some nights, Buster dreams of doing that.
In 3, 2, 1.
Well, it didn't go anywhere.
That is using that trombone.
Holy crap!
Why is he smoking so much? It looks like it did hit him.
It's on fire.
And look, the slide's still in place.
Slide?
That, I think if it didn't blow off with that, it's not gonna.
The slide is still in place.
It was quite a performance. Buster was hot, but of course, what self-respecting show ends without an encore? More gunpowder, please, Maestro.
Ready to fire in 3, 2, 1.
He had a blast, busted the myth, but Buster's conducting days were over. Buster was excited. They were taking him scuba diving. But this was no Hawaiian holiday.
Maybe we should grease him.
With some lard.
Myth has it a scuba diver was found dead in a forest fire. Seems he was sucked up by a firefighting helicopter and dumped there. Those choppers have massive pumps. To replicate the story, the MythBusters built their own. And guess who got to play the unlucky diver? Adam helpfully pushed Buster up towards the funnel, but nothing.
There was just not enough suction to hold him. I mean, his tank was in the way, everything was in the way.
That was a lot of water coming out the other end, though.
And I have to tell you, if you were a diver and you heard that sound,
You'd go in the other direction.
I think you'd go in the other direction, because I can hear it very clearly under there, and it sounds like a bad thing.
The funnel and guard were removed from the pipe, and Buster stripped of his tank.
So we're pulling off the cowling, and we're gonna try him right on the end of the pipe. That's the worst case scenario. They don't run those machines like that, but that's what we're gonna try and see if there's enough suction at all.
Once more, Buster was sucked into the vortex. But as soon as air got into that tube, the suction was broken.
That is so busted!
It pulled him up out of the water a little bit.
A little bit short of a forest fire.
Well, this new Buster has a lot to live up to.
Yeah, you know, scuba divers the world over now feel safer diving near forest fires thanks to the old Buster's efforts.
And people in elevators know exactly what to expect if and when the cable snaps.
Although, you know, I think our title of that one was a little bit of a giveaway. The elevator of death, not the elevator of happiness.
Or the elevator of love.
No, that is a trapped elevator.
We're not going to test that one, are we?
Not you and me.
I guess that's it. It's an 8-story building.
For the elevator of death, Jamie found a hotel due for demolition and figured they'd get a little head start on the wrecking ball. This is the classic last hope myth. If your elevator falls, can you save yourself by jumping up right before hitting bottom? Buster was going for a ride. To do it, Jamie and Adam needed to rig the elevator to fall and rig Buster to jump at the right time. So first, put a little spring in his step. Enter Scotty with her blowtorch. Voila, the world's greatest pogo stick.
Okay, here we go. Well, that wasn't very much at all.
The world's greatest pogo stick.
About 20 centimeters. His feet came to about, I would say about here.
One more time, maybe?
I think that's a good run. I think we're there. That was significantly more than what we got before. He looked like he jumped.
Buster was bouncing beautifully. Time to take a fall.
We are cutting the cable. Stand by.
With considerable thought, a lot of work, and a little luck, Jamie and Adam managed to get the elevator working again.
Yeah, baby!
And rigged it with a quick release catch.
Okay, Buster, this won't hurt a bit.
Inside the car, Buster sat as comfortably as possible under the circumstances. The shaft was 8 stories high. A cable would pull the pin on his pogo stick 6 feet from the bottom.
It's about perfect to me. Okay, the rig is stationary.
There seemed little chance of this myth actually being true and saving Buster's life.
I think Buster's toast, but then that's his job.
Of course, they never mentioned that at the job interview.
All right, here we go. Ready to drop in 5, 4, 3, 2. Man, that was intense.
That was such a rush. It was just like this enormous blast of air.
Oh, no.
His head's gone.
Buster might have literally lost his head, but not when it came to testing this myth. In some of his finest work, he showed there's no way jumping up will overcome the downward speed of a falling elevator car. He hit bottom at a shattering 51 miles an hour.
I don't know if we can put him back together.
Yeah, Scotty can do it.
We can rebuild him. We
come on.
have the technology.
His head came off.
His arm.
Cracked a few ribs, and this goes here.
Did you go to medical school? I think Buster feels good about a job well done, and he just hopes that we don't put his head on backwards.
Well, here's a test piece of Buster's new flesh. It's called dragon skin.
Dragon skin?
Dragon skin because it's supposed to be resistant to heat and it's really tough.
That's really good. Well, I've got a simulated dragon right here. Let's see how it takes direct flame. I mean, it's not actually burning. God, look, it's getting red hot.
Well,
wow, it's perfect underneath.
It's not exactly fireproof, but it's definitely fire resistant, and that's all we need for Buster.
Well, we also need him to be able to take a pretty hard hit. I mean, remember his landing in the boom lift catapult?
You mean like that?
Well, no. I mean, it's more something like this.
Oh, I thought it was more like that.
I think it's ideal.
So Buster is really busted up now. Even though he still has his head this time, his arm is off. His arm attachment shoulder blade is just all broken up. His leg is off. His ball joint is missing now. He's still smiling though. He always has that little smile. I have to put him back together so that we can then launch him 200 feet from a boom lift catapult.
Scotty's metal maiden skills meant she was perfect for an ongoing role as Buster's personal physician.
How's Buster doing?
Both his legs are back on.
Woo! Look nice. I brought you something special. I heard his little heart got broken, so I made him a new one of duct tape for you to put in.
Is he ready for action again?
He is ready.
Look at that, brand new hips.
New heart, new hips. Buster's back in one piece, though not all his own pieces.
You're gonna take another ride.
Buster! Come on, stop clowning around.
He's wet his pants.
In this myth, he'll play the unfortunate hero who's trying to lift an engine out of a car using a boom lift. But the chain breaks, catapulting him over his house.
All right, I'm gonna count down. 49, 48. Just kidding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Buster didn't even spill his coffee.
No, he didn't even drop the cup.
The MythBusters mayhem meter didn't even move. Time to supersize this one.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna raise it up, grab these points here, and then let the actual thing swing forward. Just like that.
And so a simple little myth turned into a magnificent, stupid, monstrous challenge. Once again, Buster would be at the center of the storm.
That looks pretty good. That looks good there.
Or at least, that's where he'd start. Adam thought he'd finish about 100 feet away.
Well, I mean, obviously the tradition is we always have to see if we can catch Buster by estimating his distance perfectly. So I think about another maybe 15 feet that way.
Got to be 100 times more, you know, thrust than what the myth would have in it. You still don't think he's going to go a couple hundred feet?
No, I don't think he's going to go much farther than right about here. Okay, I'm starting up, okay? Yep.
Next, the arm was lowered and cocked.
Stay back.
Adam took the strain in the forklift. Buster slowly descending.
Everything looks just fine.
Roger that.
Okay.
Of all the places in the whole world for Buster to be just then, this was the worst.
On my count in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What?
I don't think we're going to be returning this lift.
So he did lose both legs.
Oh.
He lost both legs. His one leg separated and his hand ended up, 20 feet away.
What do you think, guys? Is the myth busted?
Oh, myth totally failed. Completely busted. Totally, completely busted.
And Buster, busted. And boom lift, busted.
Everything's busted.
To the ground, busted.
Buster's new dragon skin body is taking shape.
That looks pretty good. Oh, God, these are coming out great.
Oh, it looks like a chunk of meat.
It's perfect. The color's good, and it's really bouncy and fleshy.
I think it's a little pink, but maybe if Buster had had this flesh on him when he was in Plywood Builder, he would have bounced instead of crashed like he did.
He might have bounced a little bit, but I still don't think it would have helped him survive at all.
In the plywood builder myth, a construction worker falls from a building but survives by holding onto a sheet of plywood. Jamie and Adam will help the myth out by using 5 single sheets to make their own flying rigs. For this myth, Buster got a modification, the disturbingly named Ball of Death. This little globe of fake blood would smash if Buster took a fatal impact.
Wow.
It looks gruesome, doesn't it?
And so to the drop zone.
That's perfect.
The guys built full-sized plywood rigs.
I'll just move this over here.
For Buster to test. From 60 feet up.
He's a very relaxed dude.
He doesn't know what's about to happen to him.
Okay, be careful with this guy now.
He has a brain.
You know, Buster, everyone really appreciates how you're willing to take one for the team time and time again. Are you ready for a piece of plywood? Oh, I can tell you're feeling it. Oh, he's ready.
Would the plywood sheet save Buster from another busting?
He's gonna die. But it's gonna look great.
Locked and loaded, over.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, the plywood didn't help at all. He hit the ground at 36 miles an hour. And the result?
He's got blood dripping out the back of his head.
Oh. We can look at the speed tests and we can look at the death ball, but I don't think I need to see either of them to say this one's busted.
He's done for.
Let's go get our solutions. Let's go try my wooden parachute.
Okay.
Strangely, the idea of falling beneath Adam's plywood parachute didn't seem to cheer Buster up.
Go. A fat lot of good that did. Oh well, the best laid plans.
Nice try. You worked most of the way.
I'm taking solace in the fact that your wing is going to fail so utterly spectacularly.
Finally, Jamie's wing. Buster really needed a lucky break about now.
2.
He didn't get one.
Go!
Bummer.
Poor guy. That was better than I could have ever hoped. You know, this reminds me of when we first got him, how pink and perfect he was. I reckon we did pretty good for 4 days of work.
Yeah, he's not half bad.
But you know, there is one more thing that we have to do with this guy.
We've got to dress him.
Yeah, we do.
You think he'll fit in his clothes?
He's
I think he's a little porkier.
Look at him! He's so cute! Finally something for the female fans. I think he looks pretty darn good. I think he's ready for some high-impact, highly flammable, highly improbable situations.
You mean like simulating an ancient Chinese guy going into outer space on a throne that's got a whole bunch of rockets strapped to it?
That is exactly the type of situation I'm talking about. The story goes that a 15th century Chinese astrologer decided to see if he could launch himself into space. So he strapped 47 rockets around the base of his throne and had 47 people light 47 fuses all at once. And when they did, apparently, he went up in a puff of smoke. They claimed that he got into space. We're here to see if he did.
To test this improbable story, the MythBusters built 2 kinda sorta authentic ancient Chinese thrones.
Oh, Adam. Perfect.
Strapped to one would be bamboo rockets, powered by a dubious homebrew gunpowder Adam cooked up.
1, 0. Woohoo! That's perfect!
The other by conventional, modern, high-powered rocket engines.
We should put both legs in first, don't you think?
So all they needed was an ancient Chinese astrologer. Oh, and here he is now.
He looks great. Oh, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. I think Buster, AKA Wan Hu, is ready for his launch.
And rocket chair number 1 is ready too.
This is the most dangerous part. 80 pounds of gunpowder, 22 idiots, 1 crash test dummy. Priceless.
With 22 idiots to choose from, Buster was again entitled to wonder why he was the one being strapped to the rocket chair. The future was again looking bleak.
I'm staring at a Chinese-dressed crash test dummy on a throne strapped to 70 pounds of gunpowder. I just had another one of those MythBusters moments.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well It was fast, whatever it was.
Just like Wang Hu, Buster's vanished. But he's no astronaut. In fact, he's toast.
Get the dummy before he goes.
His ass is on fire! And here I thought the elevator of death was the most damage he'd ever withstand. He is burnt to a crisp.
I think there's hardly a single patch of skin left on his body that is uncharred. And, you know, frankly, I don't think this is something that we can really fix. Buster is gone as we know him.
Buster, AKA Chinese astrologer, was completely obliterated. I mean, the amount of heat was just unfathomable. Buster was taken to another world in a puff of smoke.
Buster was entitled to hope that other world would be a safer, kinder place, but it wasn't. As soon as he'd stopped sizzling, he was strapped into rocket chair number 2, the one with the serious power.
We have a fair suspicion that this chair is actually going to go somewhere. And so lest Buster just fall out in the first couple of feet, I thought we should probably anchor him a little better than we did the last time.
Looks like Buster's ready for the second shot.
Just look out and stay away.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, there you go. Well, he definitely got off the ground. Oh, my poor chair. Oh, man.
I'm glad we tied him in.
I think everything held as good as we could have asked it to hold.
Myth busted, and a familiar feeling for Buster. Shooting for the stars, winding up battered and burnt in the dirt. Life as a Mythbuster was never meant to be easy. But who knew it was going to be this hard? And from the ashes of the Ming Dynasty rocket, the new, improved Buster rises like a phoenix.
Well, you know, he may have the same head, hands, and feet, but the new improved Buster has a ton of new features.
Yeah, he's fireproof.
He's got breakable bones.
He's got joints that won't be too hard to replace, which we will have to replace.
Yeah, he's exactly the same weight as the old Buster. I mean, we put the old Buster through an awful lot of trials and tribulations. We dropped him off a bridge.
We've dropped bricks on him.
We've blown him up with Chinese explosives.
We dropped him 8 stories on an elevator.
He's been blown up sitting on a toilet.
We fired him out of a cannon.
Flung from a boom lift catapult. Flown off a building holding onto a piece of plywood. I mean, he's done an awful lot, and hopefully, this new Buster has the same type of destructive future to look forward to. I'm going to christen him. I christen you Buster 2.0.
Are you going to make me repair his head again?
I christen you Buster 2.0. I christen you Buster 2.0.
You've never done that before, have you?
No, have you done that?
No.
It's a Myths Revisited special.
This may look like a salami, but it's rocket fuel.
As the team goes head-to-head with disgruntled viewers. First, they're resetting their sights on splitting an arrow.
He hit this dead on.
Then the bullet into water myth sinks to a new depth. And finally,
whoa!
the famous Confederate rocket gets a meat makeover.
Damn, I'm lighting salamis, man. I'm making a rocket out of meat.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
Ants are all over my head, man.
And Jamie Heineman.
Gets me all worked up just looking at it.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
That was heavy.
Joining them, Grant Imahara.
Go get him, boy.
Tori Belleci.
Whoa.
And Carrie Byron.
That was crazy!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
So we're about to do one of my all-time favorite things we do on the show, which is a revisit episode. And I mean, no other show that I know of ever comes to a conclusion that they are willing to reverse upon further investigation. And every time we do this, I think we come up with even better results and we silence our critics.
I don't know. I think it's just a lot of whining. What do we have up this time?
Bullets fired into water's a good one.
Bullets fired into water. We also have,
Confederate rocket?
Confederate rocket.
Okay.
And there's one more.
The most controversial, I have to say, has got to be splitting an arrow.
The amount of vitriol in my mailbox about that one is just crazy. So are we going to silence them this time?
Not only did we get it right the first time, but this time we're going to make you sure of it.
Well, in that case, splitting an arrow seems like a good place to start.
I can't believe how much controversy Splitting an Arrow episode brought up. It's ridiculous how many people are on the message boards telling us that we screwed up.
I know. I mean, they had a problem with almost everything. With the bows we were using, with the shafts we were shooting into, and with the arrowheads. I mean, I don't know. Was there anything they didn't have a problem with?
The costumes?
Yeah, I had a problem with those.
The outfits were the one thing the fans didn't mind as the team tested another costume drama. In Robin Hood, Errol Flynn made it look so easy.
He split Philip's arrow.
A split from knock all the way to tip. And a split second later, the crowd went ballistic.
Yep, ready? Yep.
But when the MythBusters emulated Errol, their long shots were a bit of a long shot.
Nice grouping, Grant.
So they did a point-blank test, which still didn't seal the deal.
Oh, that happened.
But according to viewers, the team used the wrong bow, the wrong arrowheads, the wrong arrow shafts. The fans think it's still possible.
Well, let's do it their way this time. We'll take all of their advice, and in addition, we'll have our researchers dig up information on making our own arrows in the period materials in the way that they did it at that time, and see what happens.
So for this revisit, our sharpshooters are going to listen to the fans as they build fully authentic medieval arrows, starting with the shafts. According to a Friar Tuck load of fans, to split an arrow, it must be made of perfectly straight-grained timber. And would you believe it? One viewer has donated the perfect piece.
Our wood was sent to us all the way from British Columbia. From Boards by George, he hand-picked out every one of these pieces to have the straightest possible grains. Instead of just telling us we did it wrong, he's actually participating in this revisit. I love that.
As well as I. I love it too.
Good old George. But what is it that makes this cedar so special?
As you can see, it's splitting all the way down the length of the wood. If we make arrows out of this is going to be our best chance of splitting an arrow.
An arrow that has the grain running straight through it is, so the fans reckon, ideal. But to get the arrows even more on the straight and narrow, Carrie's going to steam them into shape. And her steam box has got that certain feminine touch.
I brought a few things from home. I brought this, which is for facials, and it makes steam. And this is a home hair curling kit, which is also to make steam, which, if you're a girl, I'm sure you know exactly what these are. And if you're a man, you just think I'm crazy.
They're going to add the 30-inch long traditional shafts, turn on Carrie's feminine charms, and hey presto, they should get some dead straight grain arrows. Which means that Tori and Grant can get to grips with how to fire them.
Here on MythBusters, we like to reinvent the wheel, and apparently we chopped up our last robotic arrow firing machine to save space in the shop. So we need to build it again.
The guys thought this myth was so busted that they busted their ArrowBot. So now they've got to make it anew. But ArrowBot 2 will be slightly different so that it can fire a more authentic Robin Hood type weapon.
We've gone from using a compound bow to a longbow, which is more traditional. We're trying to, keep the circumstances the way they would be if you were, splitting an arrow.
And talking of arrows, Carrie's adding the finishing touches.
I'm preparing the fletching for the arrows. It is the little feathery end of the arrows that keep it steady in flight. From the reference material we have, it looks as though in the Middle Ages that the feathers that would have been used would have been goose or possibly peacock or swan, most commonly goose.
While Carrie has a gander at the fletchings, Tori's getting to the sharp end.
I'm gonna forge my own arrowheads. The thinking behind it is, since it's heavier than the modern day arrowheads, it might have a better chance of splitting the arrows, kind of like an axe would split a log.
But, as ever, Tori's taking a few shortcuts.
Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not using a forge. I'm actually using an acetylene torch.
He's making an armor-piercing tip called a bodkin, which was the most common arrowhead of Robin Hood's time.
Yes, I know they didn't have steel grinders back in the old days, but if they had them, they would have used them.
Seems like he's got an axe to grind with those angry viewers.
And there you go, an arrowhead. Now all we have to do is split an arrow.
But first, there's one final thing to finish these firers, strengthening the knock.
So what I've got here is a goat horn, and the idea is that you put a split in the arrow and take a sliver of this horn, put it in there, and whip a string around to reinforce.
The reinforced goat knock is the last addition to make the arrows completely Robin Hood compatible. But ironically, this may actually hinder the arrow split attempt. A perfectly straight-grained cedar arrow may well split when hit dead on, but the goat horn in a traditional arrow could be so hard that it might block the path of the fired flyer to make a split impossible. But historical accuracy is what viewers wanted, so the strengthening horn is going to stay. And to complete the quest for authenticity, Tori wants to use the homemade darts not just as the target arrows, but also as the fired flyers. But that will only work if they fly straight and true.
So we just finished building our arrows Eolde style. My feeling is that when we fire these things, they're probably going to explode on impact because the wood isn't that strong.
Well, why not do a test fire?
Firing in 3, 2, 1.
A bullseye it ain't.
Oh, wow.
Well, it looked like a strong firing.
Yeah, they don't fire so straight, though.
Not so much.
How the hell do we get it at that angle? That's what I want to know.
It looked almost like it hit something on the way out.
Maybe it hit the fletching.
Yeah, it's possible.
The authentic arrow is about as accurate as a Scud missile. But because the team still wants to use them as both the splitter and the splittee, it's going with the point-blank test straight away. And Tori's in charge of the high-tech aiming system.
Ready?
Ready?
High speed ready? Go.
3, 2, 1.
Whoa. That was cool.
It was right on the money, but there was no split. The force from the bow broke the fired arrow in half. So for test 2, they're going to try a stronger, modern arrow, still aiming at the authentic target.
Go.
It's a tougher arrow, but the same result.
Oh, shoot.
The modern firer's as bent as a $3 bill, yet the target arrow is virtually unscathed. To get the elusive split, they're they're going to need a plan B. The next revisit is from the explosive Confederate rocket, where the MythBusters went ballistic. Adam and Jamie built, aimed, and launched missiles made out of Civil War era technology. But try as they might, they found that even their souped-up hybrid retro rocket couldn't fly the mythical 120 miles.
Here it goes. So you guys are revisiting Confederate rocket? How come? I mean, didn't your last 3 rocket systems work perfectly and you busted the myth, right?
When we were doing the original, we came across a piece of information that we had to have a crack at.
Apparently, these hybrid rockets are so simple and effective that they'll run off of just about anything, even a salami.
So you guys are going to fuel these rockets with salami?
Yep.
Bet.
When it comes to rocket fuel, the MythBusters like to think outside the box.
It's got to be one of the stranger things we've ever done. I mean, I'm about to chuck a salami into the lathe.
Sure is strange, but these hybrid rockets are so efficient that apparently any hydrocarbon, even salami, can be fuel.
This may look like a salami, it may smell like a salami, may even taste like a salami, but it's rocket fuel.
While the fuel is going to be a little off the wall, everything else about their rocket is going to match their Confederate rocket blueprint. That MythBusters missile was split into 2 halves. The bottom section contained the paraffin wax fuel, which, on ignition, gently smoldered until the top half's liquid nitrous oxide was added with explosive results. This time, they'll keep the same burn-enhancing NOx oxidizer, but replace the wax fuel with a string of sausages. And that's not the only change, because this time, there's no need to stick to Civil War era technology.
Yep, that's about perfect.
They can make their salami rocket a little more refined, starting with the launch system.
3 switches. One's going to be the fill shutoff. One will be the quick release removal of the filling hose. And the third will be the launch button.
They next want to modernize the way they fill the tank with nitrous oxide. Because last time they struggled to tell if it was filling at all, and disconnection was rather dicey.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I knew I was going to do that.
So now they're going to put the tank under vacuum and draw the nitrous oxide in.
What I've got to do here is pull a vacuum on this tank and see whether it actually sucks a sufficient amount of water into it, the same volume of which we'll be intending to pull in nitrous oxide.
It's an ingenious idea, but one worth testing out with water pre-launch. Success! The MythBusters adore a vacuum. Come experiment day, they'll now be able to completely fill the NOx tank to ensure max thrust from the salami. But does salami have any thrust to give? Cue engineer Roger McCarthy.
Good, how are you?
Roger's no stranger to meat myths. When Adam and Jamie hammered out the myth of the disappearing sniper shot, their ice bullets got nowhere fast. Luckily, Roger was on hand to recommend they turn their attention to frozen meat instead. But now he's here to talk baloney.
So, Roger, have you ever heard of a hybrid rocket using a salami as fuel?
Well, quite honestly, I've never heard of a rocket using the salami as fuel, but they have enough nitrate in them, and nitrate is a key ingredient in many, if not most, explosives. So the question is, can you get those nitrates into the chemical reaction? If you can, it won't take much to make things a lot more exciting.
Well, I'll be darned. From what you're saying, maybe we'll have too much energy from this new fuel.
If you can engage those chemicals in this reaction, and that's the part I don't know, you will have more energetics than just straight paraffin.
So, according to Roger, Salami may shoot for the moon yet. Spurred on by this progress, the MythBusters race ahead with the final touches to their lunch meat launcher.
There's your rocket nozzle.
That's beautiful.
With the nozzle in place, the team joins up the two halves of the engine.
That is so light.
A shiny rocket hull later. And that is that. One hybrid rocket with nitrous oxide as the oxidizer and salami as the fuel.
Okay.
Go for it.
And
That is great.
okay.
I love it.
It sure is lovely. But will it work? Well, before heading to mission control in the desert, Jamie and Adam are first going to put their meat missile through a lockdown test fire at Alameda.
You got your, your pepperoni, you got your salami, you got bologna.
So I can't get a veggie?
No veggie rockets. Sorry.
How much later?
Pyrotechnician Jack Morocco is here because he has a license to pack black powder.
So, Jack, can I set you up with helping us manufacture the salami rocket engines?
Absolutely. I just hope I don't get too hungry.
If the salamis are going to burn explosively when the NOx is added, they first need to be on fire. And a small coating of gunpowder should do just the job.
Let's just see what it does.
All right.
Okay.
Ready to go?
Whoa!
Kaboobie.
8 salami rolls later, and it's time to play hide the sausage.
Well, there's the first engine going in.
They're wrapping them in paper because they want them to fit snugly in the rocket.
3.
This should make sure that all 8 of them burn evenly.
Last one.
With the motor packed and loaded, the rocket is locked down so that it can ignite but can't take off. And then it's all systems go.
This is another one of those things where you just run through so many of the safety procedures and so many of the systems in your head that every now and then you have to remind yourself and go, damn, I'm lighting salamis, man. I'm making a rocket out of meat.
But will it make mincemeat of this myth?
This proof of concept static test of the salami rocket. I'm gonna release the nitrous oxide.
Off she goes.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, launch and shut up. What was that?
The rocket is gone.
No way.
No, not gone up in the air, Adam, but gone to the dogs.
Oh, whoops.
Did it blow up?
Yep. The engine's gone.
No.
Their notorious PIG wasn't a rocket, but it sure was a blast. The place looks like a massacre in a deli. Time for a post-mortem.
What I saw when Adam pushed the button was that there was flame coming out of the bottom of the rocket. That meant that the ignition worked, the black powder worked, and it lit. And then there was a pause when the nitrous oxide was opened. And then it was just gone.
Amazingly, the salami fuel was too powerful. As it burned, there was an excess of exhaust, and the pressure built up until kaboom! For the boys to get some pastrami propulsion, it's back to the drawing board.
Let's get some brooms and start cleaning up this carnage asada.
Yeah, there's meat everywhere. It's disgusting.
Back with Splitting an Arrow, the team is going crazy with deja vu as it attempts to bust this myth once again. Despite making the most splittable arrow possible and using a traditional bow with a 90-pound draw, their point-blank shot failed miserably. And Grant knows why.
At that range, we're putting a huge amount of force on the arrow, and that's why they're either breaking, or in the case of the aluminum arrow, bending. So I think we actually need to go back to doing a range test. Let the arrow fly. That way, we're not pushing on it to try and push through the other arrow.
With their point-blank test shafted, the archery range is the perfect place to test this myth once and for all. And as in their recent test, they're going to use their authentic arrows as the target, but modern arrows to fire.
The important thing is that we're using the replica arrows as the target arrow, because it's really not going to matter the arrow that goes into it. Half as much as it matters that the arrow it's going into is made with period materials.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Close, but not close enough. Of course, they can only split the arrow if they actually hit it. So they dial in the focus.
Here we go, 3, 2, 1. You know, I think we hit it because it's definitely off target.
Sure enough, this time they got a direct hit, but no splitting. And that's the same story for their next 5 fires. Hit after hit, but no knock-to-tip split, which is all a little familiar. When these guys first tested this myth, they filmed something surprising. Straight as an arrow is not how arrows actually fly. They bend and wobble through the air, which makes getting a split almost impossible. The same thing is happening here, but the team got too many vitriolic emails to abandon this myth now.
Somehow I feel like this has happened before.
Something-
Deja vu?
Something reminding you of something like we may have done
I
this
feel like
once?
I've done this
Come on,
before.
come on, come on.
They're not giving up without a fight. We couldn't do a Myths Revisited without one gun story, so here it is.
So, bullets fired into water. What did we do wrong with that one? I thought we did great.
You did do great, but the viewers, in addition to all that testing, would have liked to have seen us fire guns underwater.
Oh, that might get past the bullet hitting the water deceleration problem that we were having.
It's another opportunity to break out the guns, I guess, huh?
Last time, the MythBusters broke out guns galore to see if bullets really are stopped by water.
This is the M1 Grand 30 caliber at 2 feet.
And the results were surprising. The more powerful the gun,
This kills you and everyone else in the room.
the more ineffective the bullet in water. Fans were happy with these findings, but now want to know whether guns actually work when submerged. To find out, Tori, Carrie, and Grant are going to build a water trough, drown their weapons, and see at what distance they penetrate a block of ballistics material. But at 30 foot long, the trough will hold over 3 tons of water. And that's got Tori worried.
My biggest fear is that we fill this thing up with water and the thing just explodes. But that would be cool, so I don't know if it's a fear or it's a hope. It's one of those.
While Tori decides whether he wants his rig to work or not, Carrie's putting the finishing touches to the target.
We're using a ballistic substance that's almost like waxy because it won't be affected by the water, which our gel would start to dissipate and dissolve.
They'll put this ballistics block in the water trough before shooting at it with the MythBusters arsenal.
King Cobra. 6 Hour Pete 239, 9mm. M1 Grand. And a personal favorite, 12 gauge shotgun.
Of course, there are special forces guns, like the Glock 17 or the SPP-1 that can fire underwater. But this myth is about regular weapons like these. Will any of them shoot from the hip when submerged in Tori's newly reinforced, water-filled trough?
All right, that's good. And you guys doubted me.
There's just one thing to do before the shooting match, and that's some ballistics calibration.
We're about to fire a BB into our ballistics material. By the depth of how far this BB can get into there is basically going to be a control for our bullets. The BB will penetrate the skin, so if any of our shards of bullet or any of the rounds can go as far as the BB, then we'll know it would have penetrated the skin.
And if any penetrate further, then that's a lethal hit. So, what's the result?
That's as far as this went in.
Okay, so we'll call this 1/4 inch. So any deeper than 1/4 inch is potentially lethal.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
With the ballistics target calibrated, they lower it into the trough.
Perfect fit.
Nice work.
Then, under the supervision of Rangemaster Stephen Liu, they make sure the guns are at the ready, starting with the 9mm.
All right, here we are, main event. We're about to fire a bullet underneath the water. What I need to do is I need to open the chamber of the gun and make sure there's no air at all in the barrel.
The gun must be air-free because otherwise it could explode if the bullet passes from air to water inside the barrel.
Okay, we are loaded and ready to fire.
For each gun, they want to know 2 things. Over what distance is it lethal? But before that, will it even fire underwater?
9mm, first shot. 3, 2, 1. That looked cool. I think that might have made it all the way.
That was rad. The whole water just like leaped up.
Yeah.
I think it went far.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. I'd say that was about 18 feet.
18 feet.
And the bullet is perfectly intact.
One thing we're just kind of skipping over is we've just proven that you can fire a bullet underneath water.
Oh, you're right.
So right there, it's confirmed. It's possible to shoot a gun underneath water.
Test 1's passed. A 9mm will fire underwater, but as Grant discovers, it won't reload.
So check it out. When I was resetting the ransom rest, I found the shell casing caught in the slide.
It didn't eject the bullet.
No, because it relies on the pressure.
Right, and you have that water on top of it.
So
if you're shooting underwater, you only have 1 shot to kill the bad guy.
yeah, you better get it right.
So, you've got 1 shot, but over what distance is it life-threatening? In the original story,
Okay, this 9mm pistol at 8 feet.
Adam and Jamie showed you'd have to dive 8 feet to survive a shot from a 9mm. When it's fired into water from air.
Whoa, no, that didn't go all the way through.
But what about when it's in the water to begin with?
From the barrel to the ballistics material, we're 10 feet. We're going with another 9mm round full metal jacket.
In 3, 2, 1.
Another fire. But was it lethal?
So it didn't even have the penetration of a BB.
No,
Not lethal.
not at 10 feet. All right, why don't we do 2 feet, see what happens there.
Great.
9mm at 2 feet.
Oh yeah.
But this time, when they look for the round, there's a problem. It's nowhere to be found. There's no obvious hole in the ballistics material.
Oh, it's the magic bullet.
It's a disappearing bullet.
It disappeared.
And it's not tucked away in the trough.
Don't see it in here
It's all a bit of a mystery.
anywhere.
At 2 feet, we couldn't find the bullet. So what we're going to have to do is dissect the ballistics material block at the end of the experiment and see if we can find it. Right now, we're going to move on to the 357.
There's no time to stop and search. With the light fading fast, the team must crack on with the rest of their weaponry.
Okay.
357 Magnum full metal jacket in 3, 2, 1. Was that a bigger boom?
I don't see a big hole.
Bigger boom, same problem. The round is nowhere to be seen.
No bullets.
The 357 sure works underwater. But its deadliness is going to need some further dissection. In the Confederate rocket revisit, Adam and Jamie have had a salami setback. Their mythical meat missile was more of a baloney boom.
So how'd the salami-powered rockets go?
It didn't go. It catastrophically failed on the launch pad.
Well, that doesn't sound like a failure. But I guess you do need to make a rocket, so what are you gonna do next?
We learned that there is enough energy in a salami to cause an explosion, so that means there ought to be enough energy to launch a rocket. We just need to refine it a little bit, and I had the thought that we could possibly make a smaller version using paintball gun tanks that we could get together pretty quickly.
So they're shrinking things down to 2 small paintball tanks joined by a valve. The top tank will be filled with liquid nitrous oxide, and the bottom stuffed with a solitary salami. It's a mad rush because the boys are well behind schedule. Luckily, the advantage of this new design is that it's easy to put together.
Rocket nozzle.
One salami later, and the new rocket is ready. But this time, they're also going to make several backup rockets, each of which will have a different exit nozzle to try to maximize the chances of a launch.
If we run one out on the stand and it blows up, we can go with the bigger nozzle. If we use a big nozzle and it doesn't do anything but it just fizzes, we can use a smaller nozzle. This ought to allow us the number of tests required to prove that this can work.
But it's not just rocket motors they're making. This new design also needs a new stand, new switches, and a new launcher. And after 4 sweaty hours,
you think we're ready to pack out?
I think we're ready.
At last, for the great salami showdown, it's off to the middle of nowhere. Previously, Adam and Jamie investigated whether bullets are stopped by water when shot into it from air. But what about when the guns are also submerged? Well, Tori, Carrie, and Grant have found that handguns do fire underwater. But until the ballistics block is dissected to find the bullets, their deadliness is unknown. But right now, it's time for the big guns.
Just washing my guns.
When Adam and Jamie fired their shotgun into water, they found that it was deadly at a distance of 10 feet.
Jesus wet, Jamie. That's definitely a lethal hit.
But what about when the gun is already under?
Okay.
Shotgun at 10 feet underwater in 3, 2, 1.
Just like the handguns, there's fire in the hole, but this time there is a difference.
Dang. Oh, look at that. It cracked all the way.
The gun has exploded in half.
Now, do you think that's because there was air in there somewhere, or it's just a really bad idea to shoot a shotgun underwater?
I think it's a bad idea to shoot shotgun underwater.
I doubt seriously there's any air in there.
What a shame.
So, shotgun hunting underwater?
Busted.
With the shotgun sunk, there's one rifle remaining.
Up next, we have the M1 Garand, which actually has the exit velocity of 2,700 feet per second, which is basically like 3 times the energy of any of the guns we've shot today.
Last time, the super-fast M1's bullet disintegrated virtually on impact with the water. But now, when under, will it make you drown your sorrows?
M1 Garand in 3, 2, 1.
That was a good one.
The gun's in one piece, but the bullet.
Here's the bullet.
Right there?
Yep. So.
What is that? What is that, about 6 feet?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Around 6 feet. Unless you're point blank, I don't think this thing's lethal.
I mean, it fell at 6 feet.
Yeah. And it didn't even make it to our target.
This time, the bullet hasn't shattered, but it's still been rendered ineffective by water.
I would say, though, it's pretty intimidating. I think if somebody was shooting one of those at me underwater and saw that explosion, I'd still be freaking out.
Frightening for sure, but just a few kicks away, and the water will prevent the M1's bullet from spilling your blood. But can the same be said of the handguns?
We're back at the shop now, and we've taken our block of ballistics material, and we need to dissect it because we didn't find any bullets or any bullet holes, and we want to find out if there might be one lodged in there that we can't see.
You guys find anything?
No. There's no holes. There's nothing.
Okay, let's take this off and just start cutting into it.
Slice and dice?
Yeah, sounds good.
It's a careful operation as the team carves off one layer at a time. But it's beginning to look like the handgun rounds didn't even make it in.
And there's nothing in here.
Looks clean.
Yeah.
Until...
Wait. I feel something.
Hey. Hey! There it is.
It's the 9mm.
It's 9.
It's the 9.
I'm 2 inches from the back, which means it penetrated 4 inches deep.
That's lethal. Well, let's keep cutting it because we still don't have the 357.
The 357 Magnum is more powerful than the 9mm, so the team keeps cutting deeper.
Hey. Here's the other one.
How deep is that?
Wow, that went,
Oh, whoa.
that almost went all the way through.
All the way.
I would say that's about 5.5, 5 3/4 inches.
Yeah.
So at 2 feet, the Magnum, like the other handgun, will send you to a watery grave.
So guys, bullets fired underwater, how did you do?
Well, Jamie, you can actually fire a handgun or a rifle underneath water.
But not a shotgun.
What happens to the shotgun?
Blows up.
My young friend, were they lethal?
Neither of them were lethal at a distance of more than 3 feet.
It's actually more lethal to fire into water than underwater.
So, what are you guys going to call this? Busted, plausible, or confirmed?
Confirmed. You
Confirmed.
can fire a gun underwater.
Yes.
Well, nice work, guys.
Thanks, Jamie.
Back with splitting an arrow, the team has fired over 30 shots. But so far, the authentic handmade target arrow has failed to split it all. And Tori thinks he knows why.
Should we take the horn out so that, we're giving ourselves the best chance of splitting this arrow?
Yeah, we could certainly try that. I mean, that's how it was described in the historical text.
Let's just try to make our critics happy, because I'm tired of arguing with them anyway. Might as well take out the bone, so that if it really still doesn't split it, then we could go, ha!
As predicted, the traditional horny knock is so strong that the fired arrow gets diverted off target. So Grant's taking out the horn, which may help split the arrow, but makes this experiment no longer Robin Hood compatible.
There's your problem.
And that's not the only change. For this test, they're also going to add a whole host of target arrows. This bunching should ensure they get a direct hit.
3, 2, 1. It hit him, but it deflected up.
Again.
There's no split as the arrow snuck its way through the bunch target. But the team aren't quitting as they keep giving it their best shot.
3, 2, 1.
At least that is until Arrowbutt starts misfiring. 2 shots in a row miss the bunch completely, and that means it's time to call in the big guns. Salami sure is popular. 2,500 tons of this innocuous-looking meat medley is eaten every year. But can it do more than just power our bodies? Can it fuel something altogether more spectacular? Well, the MythBusters have come to the middle of nowhere to find out.
It's dawn, it's freezing, and we're back on the original launch site of the Confederate rocket, except this time with a salami-powered rocket.
Yeah, we know from the first test that we did that the energy is there. Hopefully we figured out how to harness it in such a way that it actually propels the rocket instead of explodes it. So, what do you think? Shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's just go.
All right.
Just like at Alameda, they're going to position the rocket 500 feet away, crouch behind safety glass, and hope for the best. But this time, they've got a secret weapon. Rocket expert Eric Gates is here to help them. Eric is a regular Mythketeer. It was his rockets that gave the thrust to the famous rocket car. And without him, a full 360-degree ride around a swing set would have been impossible. This time, he's already altering Adam and Jamie's plans. Eric wants to replace the black powder ignition system with modern hobby rocket fuel. And as usual, he can't resist a demonstration to show why.
Your black powder is a quick flash, whereas this AP will burn for about 3 or 4 seconds with a constant heat to get the fuel hot for the nitrous.
Okay.
So if you want to push that button.
3, 2, 1. Oh, that's beautiful.
That's what I wanted to see. It's making a nice jet down the throat of even that small donut, which will ignite the length of the sausage.
The hobby fuel should do a much better job at setting the salami alight before the NOx is added.
Neat as a whistle.
And as for the NOx, they've abandoned the vacuum filling system as they fill her up the old-fashioned way. A fancy finned rocket hull later, and she's taken to ground zero.
Everybody is aware that we're about to go hot. Over.
Go ahead and make the system hot.
Here in Mojave, the MythBusters have flight clearance up to 50,000 feet. So how high might this pastrami puppy soar?
What's going to happen? I give it a 20% chance of blowing up right on the stand, about a 50% chance of launching somewhere under 20 or 30 feet, and the rest is that it's going to go maybe to a couple thousand feet.
What we have to get here is an actual flight. Personally, I'm not going to be satisfied if it just gets off the launch rod and goes 10 feet in the air. I mean, technically that's a flight. I think it's going to go hundreds of feet, if not thousands of feet in the air.
Okay, so this is a salami rocket with a 1/2-inch nozzle, firing in 3, 2, 1. Boom.
Hey! Look at that! 20 feet, man! What did I tell you?
I don't care, man, what anybody says. That was a salami rocket, and it flew. Everything else is immaterial.
Fly it did, but this being MythBusters, we can't leave it at 20 feet. In Split Arrow, Tori, Carrie, and Grant have been giving the Robin Hood myth their best shot. Yet, whatever they've tried, singles or bunches, they've failed to split even a hair. But they've got one more trick up their sleeve. And here he is, Jim Long.
This is great. I mean, that was one of the things that the viewers were saying is, why don't you get a professional shooter in?
I know, this is working out perfect.
This is it.
Jim is one of the best archers in the land, and this myth is now down to him.
He knocked the sticker off the end.
It's a pretty good start from our Robin Hood wannabe, and the team goes in for a closer look.
Did it split it at all?
You took out the fletching on this side.
And you split a little bit of the wood.
If that's his sighter, what's he gonna do when he gets his eye in?
There goes the other feather.
He's good.
The arrow's getting shredded, but not split. Jim's pinpoint accuracy allows him to get hit after hit, but even he can only get partial splits at best.
It's hitting it, just getting deflected.
Until...
Dang.
Ah, it's brutal.
Oh, look at that.
We got a split.
Look at that, almost like 10 inches long.
That's about a third of the way down the arrow.
It's taken over 60 direct hits to get the biggest split yet, but it's still only 1/3 of the arrow's length.
I think this is the closest we'll ever be able to come
Yeah,
to splitting it. I mean, look.
Okay, I mean, it came in very, very cleanly. You can see it following straight down the grain till it gets to about here. And then it starts to go off kilter. He hit this dead on.
I mean, we can do this all day. I don't think we're gonna get a better shot than this.
How can you get a better shot than dead on with
I mean,
carbon fiber arrows?
Yeah, there's no way.
It's busted.
Given that the team made the most splittable arrow possible, and a whole day's worth of fires have failed to yield a knot-to-tip split, this myth is busted again. So, how did they do it in the movie?
So we're switching to bamboo because we think that in the Robin Hood movie, in order to fake the splitting arrow, they used something with a hollow core that looked wooden, and bamboo is very close to that. So we're gonna try it out.
Did Robin Hood use some movie magic? Let's take a closer look. Slowed right down, the target arrow sure does look hollow, and the rings on the edge are very similar to bamboo. Of course, bamboo originates in Asia, Robin Hood did not fire arrows like this. But can the team split this completely unauthentic, movie-inspired shaft?
Got it, buddy.
That is what I'm talking about.
Jim, you are the man.
Nice
work.
They cheated, but got what they wanted. A not-to-tip split that looks nearly identical to that from the movie. And what's more, it took just one arrow to get it right.
So, on splitting an arrow revisit, we followed all the viewers' advice. And what was the result?
I mean, we gave them what they asked for. We made our own arrows. We had a traditional longbow. We even brought in a skilled archer who hit it, and he couldn't split it.
After we were at the range and we saw how the bamboo split right down the center, and we saw how we couldn't get into the cedar arrows more than 10 inches, I think the movie used bamboo.
And as we know, anything's possible in the movies.
That's right.
Is it busted?
Still busted.
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 Civil War rocket.
The MythBusters are revisiting Confederate rocket.
Ignition.
There goes.
In that myth, their ludicrous launch exceeded all expectation. So far, the same can't be said of their revisit. Their first salami rocket was rather sorry for itself. But all is not lost. To try to get a little more altitude, the team is going to give it one more go with a new nozzle that may better focus the thrust. And that's not the only change.
You know, the main criticism we got for our first Confederate rocket launch was that we did not have sufficient camera coverage. People complained that we didn't cover the rocket's flight and that we didn't have an onboard camera.
You have to remember that this was an experimental rocket, and we had no idea that it was actually going to work. I thought it was going to blow up. Well, for those viewers that want to see some of that kind of fancy footage, here's some from Eric Gates.
Eric Gates, rocket expert and cameraman. And luckily, Eric just happens to have brought his rocket camera with him. But will the new salami rocket reach an altitude as high as this?
We got a junkyard rocket, man. This is fire number 2 with onboard camera.
It's got all the gadgets, but will this salami rocket break the 20-foot record?
In 3, 2, 1. It didn't go even as far as the first one. But it went up! Hey! All right.
On ignition, the nozzle blew out, so there was nothing to focus the salami thrust. And the onboard camera blew too, but it was mission accomplished.
I'm actually not at all surprised that salami works really well as a rocket fuel. No doubt ours could be better. We need a little more refinement here and there. But the beauty of the hybrid rocket is that it'll burn just about any hydrocarbon, and it'll burn it aggressively enough to serve as a rocket fuel. So, you know, we could have gone to the moon with salami.
The moon? That's only 240,000 miles to go.
So, salami rocket is busted, plausible, or confirmed?
Hey, a flight's a flight. We got airborne, so it's confirmed.
Salami does seem to make a pretty good rocket fuel, but I'm gonna stick with paraffin.
Okay.
I'm taking this back home.
He's tired now.